Yeah, so this is just a little intro to the sun sign videos that I'm putting up. So if you've listened to me before, you will know this already, but if you haven't, it's just to really explain how I do the readings. So, and I say this in some of the readings. I didn't know I was going to do an intro. I thought I'd better do one at the beginning. All right, so basically, these are twin flame readings based around sun signs. So it's based around astrology. And in the way that I do these public collective readings is that it's in a very fluid way, okay? So, first of all, yeah, it's based around the signs of the zodiac, but you could listen to any one of these readings and you will find some kind of clarity or understanding. So, it's a lot more beneficial if you let go of whatever sun sign you are and don't try to apply it in some kind of, don't try and box yourself in. So, if you want to look at your chart and how the transits are affecting your chart at the moment and your twins chart, then and open it up. So open up the energy around you. I would listen to all of them. They're not very long. It's about 2 hours if you listen to all of them. I'm doing them in sections, air, water, fire and earth. So you can, have one a day or whatever. And just let them wash over you and let the wisdom sink in. Take what you need from it, leave what you don't. Don't start questioning in your head about what you don't need. So you don't want to go into conflict in your mind and start to get all worried and stressed about anything. You just want to stay fluid with it, go with the flow, and find a good feeling place around it. Okay, so that's the first thing. The way I use the tarot deck as well, just to explain, is my own particular way. So for me, the cards change, all right, because I shift, and this has gone on for years now. And when I shift, the cards will change meanings, and also that sometimes they'll tell me something with a card, and the meaning will change. So I'll get a clairaudience that will mean, oh, that card means this now. All right. So the way I use the cards is kind of in accordance with wherever I am at my journey at the current time. Each card, if you view it as a little portal of wisdom, all right. So free yourself from all the understanding that you've ever had of what these tarot cards are when you're listening to my readings. Different if you're doing your own and you want to pin a meaning onto it, then that's fine. But don't go by the books with what I'm reading, because I'm a twin flame and I read for twin flames, and the meanings I have are always for twin flames. All right. So that's the other thing. I do readings and sessions, video readings with the cards, and Skype sessions for twin flames. Anybody else actually that wants to come with anything, but mainly for twin flames, because that's what I'm here for. So if you wanted to get in touch, my email address is in the description box below, and if you email me, I'll send you back all the details of prices and how I do the readings, and just in knowing that as well, because I like to remain, I work vibrationally, is that I don't like too many emails back and forth. So there's no need for feeling like you need to tell me your whole story by email or anything like that, because if I start to read for you, I'll get it all anyway. All right, it comes through source, it comes through your guides, your higher self, etc., and your twin's higher self. So just to say that, is there anything else that I need to say? I don't think so. All right, no, that's it. That's the intro. I am going to be putting out readings every month, I hope. So, but by the moon cycle. So the next one will be at the full moon to the new moon, but the one after that will be from the new moon right through to the next new moon. So it'll be monthlies, but I'm starting this halfway through a month, so it's got to be 2 weeks. All right, so these are for the next 2 weeks, basically. Okay, lots of love. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being there. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing all those things people say. Thank you for liking. Thanks a lot. Bye, everyone. I hope you're well. This video is tarot reading for the fire signs, and it's the energy from I would think it's the 14th of January 2021, where the new moon is, kind of extending out until the next full moon. So it's for about 2 weeks. The end of a cycle, because I didn't start them when I should have done, which was at the beginning of the last full moon for a full cycle. So it's just for a 2-week cycle, basically. So fire signs. So I'm just going to shuffle these up. This is going to be advice for twin flames as well, because my whole channel is about twin flames. So that's who the tarot reading's for. And if you think of each card as being like a little portal of wisdom, depending what comes out, you know, depending, it could be anything. It could be predictive, or it could be just some kind of advice or some kind of understanding. Okay, so we'll start with Aries. Just put them here so you can see they're being taken from the top. Right, Aries. So the first card out we've got is the Seven of Wands. So this represents resistance, energetic resistance. So that's what they want to talk about. Energetic resistance is basically not feeling good. So maybe some Aries that are watching haven't been feeling good. Resistance you feel in your physical body as well. So if there's tension in the body, that's a sign of resistance. So everything is linked together, okay? So your mind, emotions, and physical body. So if you're not feeling well emotionally, you're going to feel it in your physical body. If you're not thinking, if you're not, you know, if there's a lot of stress and worry in your thoughts, that's going to affect your emotional body and also your physical body. So it's all kind of, the resistance is a whole experience, right? It's a whole physical, mental, emotional experience. So just so you're aware of that with resistance. And then we've got Nine of Swords coming out, which is about the mind, worries and fears, maybe around expectations. So that can cause, if your expectations aren't being met, if you've got an idea of something that should be happening and it's not happening, those thoughts and worries about that can cause a lot of resistance. So that's how those two are linked together. This card, the Nine of Swords, is an ending card. So nines are about things coming to an end. So they're kind of talking about resistance coming to an end in those two cards. Also, this Nine of Swords is about the feminine experience. So if you're working from the feminine perspective of the twin flame story, then this would be talking about how you're feeling and what's coming through you in the form of resistance. And as you know, just to also say that, as you know, if you're in a twin flame experience, you're connected to significantly, because we're all connected, but you're connected significantly to one other human being, energetically linked, and that person comes through you in every single way as well. So they come through the mind, the emotions, and the energy. So the resistance you might be feeling and you might be clearing could be coming from them as well. So your resistance is not always your own resistance. And in fact, during the twin flame process, your resistance is much more likely to be their resistance. So what you feel coming through you is coming from them. And going back to how you can feel it in your physical body, that resistance that comes through, you feel it in your physical body. Oh, look, there she is, the Queen of Pentacles. So that is the physical body of the feminine vehicle. So it might be Aries that this, for these next 2 weeks, you're feeling that resistance coming through, that's coming through your connection. So any kind of physical symptoms that you might get, physical symptoms of resistance will include any kind of nausea, any kind of inflammation. So whether that's like an immune response can be, which causes inflammation, like in the ears, blocked sinuses. stomach pains, stomach troubles, inflammation in the gut as well. That can be resistance. Sore fingers, any sore bit of the body you feel like it's aching or it's bruised, you know, that doesn't seem to want to go away. That also physical resistance that will come through that way. So that's what they're saying there. So just notice that, excuse me, what you might be feeling coming through. Let's get one more out. Page of Swords lesson. That's what that's about. It's also about communication. So as I just said, basically the twin flame process, the experience is like you're feeling everything from the other person coming through you. So the experience is a lesson in oneness. It's a lesson in being connected energetically to another human being, which when we pass on, you know, or pass over, some people call it death, is we all go back to oneness. So you're having a human experience of oneness, which is comparable, which is actually what we are when we're not a human. We're oneness. So you're just having that experience in a physical form. So everything that comes through you, any kind of type of resistance, is a lesson in oneness. So that's what they got there. And reaching out, this is contact being made in the physical world. When all resistance is finished, when all resistance is cleared, then physical contact's made. So in terms of reunion process, twin flames are in separation, and it will eventually come into reunion, because all twin flames are going to come into reunion at some point. The resistance being cleared is part of that process of bringing it back into the physical world. So just be aware of that everything you're feeling and experiencing is part of your reunion process. Nothing is ever wrong or not what it should be. It's all just part of the process. Coming back to this card 7 of Wands, so just really be aware that there's never any blockage. People talk about blockage, right? As in, where am I blocked on this journey? What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? What am I not seeing? Well, the only thing really that you've got to see is that there is nothing wrong, and that you're moving through a process which is the reduction of resistance. When there's no resistance existing anymore, the physical manifestation of the union occurs, and there it is, the Chariot, which is masculine and feminine energy coming together. So when the energy unifies, and it does throughout the journey on and off, because you go up into higher energy, then you go back down into lower energy again as you clear the resistance. So and when it's fully cleared, there's the reunion. Just to say as well about that, because they're really talking about the feminine here, is that you got to know this, right? You have to know this, and you have to make this your only belief, because part of the resistance of the actual process is the resistance of the process. So it's the resistance against what you're going through. So that's self-talk, and it's self-talk in terms of being in thought only and not being in knowingness, right? Knowingness is the understanding that the journey is a process, and that you're going through something that you can't see with the human eye, that eventually comes into being and manifests into the physical world. And resistance in the mind is the talking the self out of it and saying, well, this is just, I'm imagining it. There's nothing really going on here. Why do I feel so bad? I want this to stop. And kind of, you know, talking yourself out of your vibration, basically, is what that does. Being in the mind talks yourself out of being in a really good vibration. Good vibration is a vibration of clarity, is a vibration of belief around the process. So just notice what's going on there inside of yourself in terms of the resistance. Like they say, it comes through many different ways. It'll come through emotional resistance, you know, wanting to feel better through something changing in the outside world, rather than looking to just feel better and making that separate from what you see in the outside world. So, you know, a sense of, I'm just going to feel better, I'm going to feel better, I'm going to find whatever I can to help me feel better, and not look at some expectation of what I've been led to believe should be happening now, or that I want now, being the only thing that will make me feel better. So you've got to lessen the resistance where you can, through how you feel, and through in your thoughts assisting that in how you feel, and also noticing that your physical body is as much a part of the process as is your mind and emotions. Because I think a lot of the time people forget that that physical body is the vessel for your ascension, it's the vessel for your experience. So of course everything's gonna be felt inside that physical vessel, not just energetically through the chakras, which are the link really of the physical to the other, to the emotions and the vibration, but also through the physical itself, in things like elbows, toes, ears. You know, that's all part of the experience as well. So that is that for Aries. I'll leave that one at that. I'm going to move on to the next fire sign, see what comes through. Put those over there for now. So the next one is Leo. See what you need to know, Leo. All right, so we've got romance coming out. That's a Knight of Cups, so that signifies romance coming forward, romantic love, and something on the way. The Knight of Cups is always like movement, so we've got movement in terms of romance. And Page of Pentacles, which is about form showing up. So that's about things showing up in the physical world. So it's manifestations. So far they're talking about romantic love moving forward. So that's something that's on its way. And the form showing up, the materialization, the manifestation of that into the physical world. The Page of Pentacles, also something brand new, is the Page of Pentacles showing up in the physical world, and lessons. Whenever anything that's brand new manifests into the physical world, any kind of experience, the beginning of any experience comes in, there's always lessons to learn. And Page of Pentacles is the beginning of an experience in the physical world, because it's number one, and that's what it stands for as well. Form showing up, beginning of experience, lessons. Next card is rebirth. So you've got the Empress, which is rebirth. So this is showing again that something is due to be born into the physical world regarding your experience. The Empress is number 3. Number 3 is creation. Creation is God. Creation is source energy. 3 stands for the triad, the Trinity, the Fleur de Lis. So the 3 is in effect, it's there's lots of ways of understanding what the Trinity is and what the triad is and the Fleur de Lis. You can understand it this way. For example, fifth dimensional energy, which is source or God energy, is one of the triad or the Trinity or the Fleur de Lis. And fourth dimension, which is imagination and thought, is where that you create what you bring in from source. Third dimension is the physical reality, is the earth grid. So those 3 things, fifth dimension, fourth dimension, third dimension, you could view those as a trinity, because there's multiple ways of viewing everything, right? You could also say you're, I'm going to do a whole other video about this, by the way, in a minute, so maybe that's why it's coming out. Inner child, ego self, and higher self, which forms up your inner voice, is also the trinity, because your higher self is God, you see. So that's the trinity inside of yourself and inside of yourself, as viewed through the dimensions and viewed through what's going on inside of you. So you could see those as versions of the Trinity. And basically what the Empress is, it's the bringing into reality of the Trinity. So it's what you are connecting to through your inner child and your ego, which is your thought process. And then you're connected into source and bringing that through. There's more to explain all of that. I'll put a whole video out about it after this, after these sun signs. But it's what you're bringing in, you see. It's the birth. So here we've got manifestation into the physical world, romance. The birth comes through you. All right, as you can see, it comes through you, because it comes 5th, 4th, 3rd, and it comes inner child, ego, and source connecting. And you bring it in, and that is how you manifest, right? So you're manifesting something, got the next 2 weeks in terms of romance. So whatever that is might be very different for other people, for everybody that's that we're talking about here. Let's get another card out. Justice. Justice is like things coming right and coming into balance. It's also really high understanding. It's representative of 11, so it's representative of ascension itself. So that it's, what you are bringing in is really high level into your life. You're manifesting something really high level is what they're saying there. And the balance being right. Justice is like 0 point. So your point of manifestation of something that's good into your life is always going to be at 0 point. It's going to be where you're feeling good, where your thoughts aren't getting in the way, where you're only connected to source, so you're in your highest self. So there's no questioning and no doubting. You see, also justice is like the hammer going down at the end of the trial, saying case dismissed, and there's no more questioning and there's no more answering, and everything is new again. So you see, that's the kind of how you replicate that into the physical dimension, coming through you, point of rebirth. So again, something coming in, something is really highly aligned, and we're going back to the first card. It's something to do with romance, energy of love moving forward. But really, really, I have to stress, the Knight of Cups is romance. So we're not talking about love that is a parent or a child or a friend or a work colleague or anything like that. We're talking romance, romantic love. That's what you're bringing through. One more card on that right now for Leo. Firepower, Queen of Wands, which is vibration. So this is your vibration that's bringing all this through. So it's all about you, okay? So this energy that I'm picking up for Leo is that you're coming in, you're coming into knowing yourself, right? And to really understanding that it's your vibration that is the root cause of everything that you have in your life. Now, I just want to add as well, because when we're doing the sun signs and everything and reading the cards, it's not so cut and dried that you would say this is just for Leos and this is only for Leos and this is all you've got and it's not for anybody else, because everybody's got something in Leo in their chart, and also some people have nothing in Leo, and either of those things can be, depending on where everything else lies in your chart, can be really meaning that the Leo cards are going to be very important to you, despite the fact you might not have Sun in Leo. All right, so just be aware of that as well, because what this really is coming through as is an energy of authority over your vibration. So for any of you that are feeling that you've got authority over your vibration at the moment, and that you know who you are, you know why you're here, you know what you're due to manifest, then this is for you. So I would say, rather than be a Leo and look at this, in some cases it is listen to this and then go and look and see where you've got Leo in your chart and see how the planets are transiting around that as well, and how your Leo is being affected, because this could definitely be people that haven't just got Leo as a sun. And also, what's coming through now is just that Leo is really manifestation energy, because it is the sun energy, and the sun is the solar energy of the solar plexus, so it's willpower, but the only form of willpower that ever counts is willpower over the vibration. So it's the willpower detached from the mind. It's the drive and ambition that just comes from knowing, which comes from beyond the mind, right? Which is instinctual, which is closer to pure vibration in the circle of life. And it's also representative. So the sun represents God, and it represents higher consciousness. So it really is, like they say here, it's a higher consciousness coming through into the vibration and producing the result in the physical world. So that's what that Leo energy is all about. It's about connecting into the sun, and it's about bringing through what is highest consciousness. Okay, there's a really, everybody talks about Leo being like such an egotistical energy, but the thing is, when you manifest into the physical world, you come here for an individual experience, and that is what you come here for. So people will say ego is the furthest thing from source energy, okay? Because it's like, it's all in the mind and it's all thinking about things. And yeah, that can take you into thought where you're just tangled up in even more ego and perhaps narcissism or something like that. But it's also the closest energy to source energy. So it is you're here for an individual experience, and the individual experience is really knowing that you're connected to source and that you are source, to have the most bountiful and abundant physical experience. So the two things are so close, they're touching, right? And that's where manifestation occurs, when you know you're God and you respond accordingly through your own sun self, your own vibration. One more on that. Movement, just movement again. So that's like a little mundane card, the Three of Wands, which is about something coming towards you, and you looking out at something that's coming in, which is basically that it's talking here about romantic love. So that's what they've got to say for Leo. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to get all predictive in these because it's not a good energy to be in. So I'm just going to leave you whatever thoughts come out, and you can be in the best energy possible. Okay. So the next one we're going into is Sagittarius. So already I'm getting for Sagittarius. Sagittarius is really thought-based. And I know it's a fire sign, but Sagittarians are like masters of words. They're like wordsmiths. They're very good at talking people in and out of things. And they're very good at selling. They're salesmen, really. You know, they're very good at like selling people you know, dust and telling them it's gold, that kind of stuff, and people believe in them. So they're manifestors. They're like magicians, you know, they can use words to turn dust into gold. Let's have a look and see what the cards say. We've got Two of Cups coming out. Two of Cups is twin flame energy. So this is, again, it's very much being in an energy of oneness, because that's what twin flames are. So you might find yourself in the next 2 weeks in that experience of oneness with the twin that you are connected to. So maybe you're just feeling, you know, you go through periods in this process where you almost feel like you're stood face to face, even though that person's not around you physically. And that's just the whole experience. And it's almost like you go out of physical reality and you feel like, it's a bit like being, you know, going into trance. And then you might come round and you'd be like, what was I doing for the past 2 weeks? That's just flown by, and I don't seem to have done much. It's because you go into that oneness experience with your twin, and it all becomes energetic. And there's in there's a lot of, because it's very fluid energy, there's a lot of shifting that goes on. Because whenever you go into the energy of the twin flame experience, into that trance-like experience of oneness, what's happened is you've been taken away from the physical dimension and all activity there, and things shift. It's like a reorganization. Imagine this, someone in heaven is playing a game of chess, and when you go into that trance experience, it's like you've got a blindfold on, and they're moving all the chess pieces around, and they're getting them into a position, and you take the blindfold off, and you're like, oh my God, the game's all changed. How did that happen? So you might feel like in the next 2 weeks that this is what's going on with you. 2 weeks coming in. Next card, now moment. So there we go, now moment in the physical. So it's like the physical being at a standstill where the energy shifts. So you've got energy shifting going on in this 2 weeks, from the new moon, 14th, 15th, whenever that is coming in, to the next full moon. Six of Wands all around vibration. Everything on this journey and this process is about getting you, as we said in the first cards for Aries, about getting you vibrationally at the point of contact in the physical world, if you like. So everything that this journey is about, however it might digress and divert into various having to understand things and having to experience things, the end point of the journey is vibrational point. And in that is a lot of understanding. So you're being shifted into vibrational point here. Six of Wands is the vibrational success of having the 0 point manifestation vibration, where you're not corded by anything. See, everything that you let go of on this journey, and everything that you move beyond, and that's everything that you have to experience in terms of everybody else that's in existence in the planet, and in whatever way you're relating to all those people, is about shifting you out of those experiences and ending those experiences and bringing you into only the one experience in the physical reality, which is a manifestation of the twin flame energy into reality. So everything that you go, it's like cutting cords, multiple cord cutting is the physical experience up until the reunion. And the reason for that is because that cord cutting brings you into vibrational, you could call it vibrational core work, because you're the core, you're the center, and everything else is extracurricular and part of the journey and will be cut away one after the other, one after the other. So that's what they're saying, because this is all like centered in the Four of Pentacles and about success in the vibration. The world is freedom, and the world is the end of the story, and the world is absolute clarity. So all you're left with is vibration in that, and you're left with a vibration of, you could call it authenticity, because people like to use that, and what that really means is your vibration as source, your authentic vibration, your God self, your all-knowing self, you could call it, because absolute clarity is all-knowingness, not coming from the mind, but coming from source. So it's, I know why I'm here, I know what this all is, I don't need to think about it anymore. I can let go of all the questions. You see, even the energy in the mind, the questioning, is this real? Am I really going through this? Maybe this isn't real. Maybe I've got it all wrong. All the looking out of the self, what's he doing? What's she doing? Is he really who I think he is? Is she really who I think it is? That's all cording yourself in the mind through the thought. So that is diverting into thought rather than being in higher self, being in core vibration, vibration of God, vibration of complete clarity and understanding and knowingness. You see? So eventually, even on this journey, you don't even need a belief around it, because beliefs always come, created beliefs through the human always come through the mind. So you're always trying to talk yourself in and out of whatever your belief is. Knowingness comes from beyond the mind. And ultimately, it's the energy of letting go, which is what the world is. Because to be in ultimate knowingness, all you have to do is let go of everything else. Everybody else's preconceptions, everybody else's ideas. Just to say on YouTube, for example, you've got trillions and zillions of voices talking about twin flames, not only in the videos put out, but in the comments and everything. And everybody's got an idea of what this is, and everybody thinks say no, and everybody's got something to say. But you got to see where is this coming from inside the person that is coming from? Is it coming from thought, or is it coming from knowingness? Right? And then it's like, uncord yourself from the collective consciousness and unconsciousness that's coming through in relation to what you're going through. Because what you're going through is personal to you, private to you. It's only for you to know. Your knowingness comes from your source vibration. It doesn't come from other people's voices or other people's machinations, manipulations, undulations, scratching around trying to find an answer. You see? So it's like, listen to your own voice, basically. And know that if you're in a void, because this is the void, right? The trance, the void, there's something shifting, and that's all it means. You don't even have to know what's shifting, because they're not always your guides aren't always going to tell you everything. They don't, They're like I say, you've got the blindfold on and they're moving the chess pieces around. And then they take the blindfold off you and they're like, ta-da! Here you are, completely new feeling, completely new energy for you. And you're freer. And you didn't need to know how you got there or what they shifted. Your work is in the physical world, so your work is always in the way that what you're doing, actually your physical existence, and the people there and the talking there, and that's what they're saying about, all the voices and everything. That's where your work is in uncording from that. That's what it always is. All right, so one more card. King of Swords, truth. So this is masculine truth as well. So we're going to say this. We're only going to say one thing about it, because there's only one thing that needs to be said. And it's in relation to everything else that could be said about a twin flame experience and process. Okay? In relation to that if you were going to say uncord from everything that's out there about this and remain in one truth and one truth alone, and actually that's the ideal vibration to be in, because this process is about not just you, uncording and coming into the one truth, the knowingness, the one knowingness alone. It's about you bringing the masculine of the twin flame that you're connected to also into that truth. And when they are in that truth, then they operate from the vibration of that truth. And that's when they come through into the physical manifestation of them and make contact with you. So that's really all, the only thing that there is to say. So do you see? It's always back to the vibration. One more on that, and then we're done with the fire. Whew. Energy, the devil. See? So that's the connection that you have in energy to one other person above all others. It's a connection of oneness in human form that is twin flame experience. You coming into oneness again. Source God energy is oneness. That is liberation from the human experience. But you can't, you're in a human vehicle. So it's the liberation within the human vehicle. It's what's called samadhi. The yogis call it samadhi. It's liberation of the self. So going back to that last one, or nirvana, I think they also call it. It's heaven on earth. That's what liberation is. In this sense, it's heaven on earth. It's a promised land. And last year, I was going to say years ago, maybe that's because time's just flashed by, I don't know. But last year they kept talking about the promised land and creating a heaven on earth, and that's what the twin flame connection is, because it's a return to source vibration within the human vehicle and operating from that and knowing that you are source and that everything that you could have in this physical world, you could have from source. It's like, making a Christmas list of everything you want. Just going to drop this in as the last thing because it's not really connected with that. I watched the movie Overboard with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell again not that long ago. And when I watched that movie, I love that movie. It's got really good energy about it. It's just so clever, and she's so great in it, playing that character. I just love it. Anyway, and there's this part about it where they talk about two of the Greek gods. Is it Poseidon and I can't remember the other one, but it's the masculine and feminine. And at the end of the movie, they jump overboard, both of them, and then they go swimming towards each other, just like the mythological gods. So it's a bit like twin flames. That whole the movie is like representative of twin flames, even like their in and out relationship, and is kind of that thing. And then whilst they're doing this and they're reuniting in the sea, his children are sitting on the ship and on the boat that he jumped off, and they're all making out their Christmas lists of what they want. So it's almost like that vibration those two create means that they're going to manifest everything they want for these kids. And really, that's what twin flames are. They're forerunners of everybody being in the vibration where you manifest whatever you want, and in that you're manifesting peace and harmony and a world that we live in that is made of that. So that's I'm just going to end with that for the fire signs, and then I'm going to come back in a minute with whichever one's next. Not sure which one that is yet. Okay, lots of love. If you wanted a personal reading or a session, I'll put my email address in the description box and you can just email me for the details. All right, take care, bye.